G'day, hi, and welcome. Bushcraft 101. Alone in the bush. Should you be scared? Should you be terrified? Should you not trust anything, not even little trees? Well, I don't know. Okay, so depending on which bush you're stuck in, a lot of people, something that gets them, and this is something that is highly overlooked a lot of times, I find, and I haven't heard anybody, I'm not saying nobody's ever done it, but panic, the whole panic thing. People will touch on it, but most people die because of panic. Because panic leads to all kinds of other things. Not that I'm just scared and nervous and whatever, but it makes you do irrational things. So with panic, okay, if you're not used to being in the bush, like a lot of people sometimes will comment over the years on my trapping stuff that like, wow, you're trapping wolves and hunting bears and stuff like that, and you go into the bush with nothing more than a knife or a tomahawk. And this is really not for defense, unless it's a wild chicken, then I gotta do what I gotta do. But I mean, I've come across bears, like when I was a kid, the first bear I ever saw face to face was at this corner right here. That was a bit of a surprise. I came face to face with a fox once. First time that happened, I think I was about 9 or 10 years old. I froze up. I was like totally freaked out by it. But like when you think about it later, it's like it was a fox, dude. When you're a little kid, that thing is like like the story of Peter and the wolf goes through your head when you see a fox, right? So if I would have actually saw a wolf when I was a kid, I would have shit my pants. But I had my 22 with me. I drew on him, but I didn't shoot. Because my first thought wasn't he was going to kill me. My first thought, oh, I hope he doesn't bite me because he has rabies. You know what I mean? You saw me getting, if you've been following my other channel, you saw me being tracked by a wild chicken over there. And today I had a little bunny hopper try to kill me by leading me off the trail with his cuteness, which sunk me in and got snow in my boot, which I would then probably die of hypothermia. Then he could eat me. Don't trust the bunny squatches. Don't trust them. But anyway, it was very cool. I don't get too nervous with I don't think I've ever been nervous, like even after dark. I mean, I've walked home this very road in the summertime or in the fall, it pitch black dark, like literally so dark that I wouldn't know if I was on the road or not. Like it was so dark. And I remember one time, it was just up my head a bit. I don't know, maybe I stepped on something or whatever. And all like that. I was like, what the hell was that? Pitch black dark. And then I went like this. I was like, oh, great. Now which direction am I going? Like, it was like literally walking with a blindfold. You're in a dark room with a blindfold on. It was like that dark. I could not see something. My dad told me this story one time. He was way back. And he heard something coming through the bush, and it was like in the bush when it gets dark in here, like it's so dark, you know what I mean? Like you literally can't do anything. You can only just kind of sit there and wait till the daylight comes back if you don't know where you're going. So you get home on instinct. You know what I mean? It's like your feet feel the way home. Does that feel like a familiar piece of road? Maybe yes, maybe no, I don't know. You could end up anywhere. So be aware of your surroundings is what I'm saying. But he said there was something went by him. He heard it coming through the bush, so he just stopped. And it went by him and it brushed against his shoulder, and he didn't know if it was a deer, a bear, a moose, or whatever. And he didn't move at all. It just brushed right by him. It kind of semi-stopped, and then it kept going. It was like, we don't know what it was till this day. It's like, but you know what I mean? Most people would shit bricks on it, but we're laughing about it, right? I've had experiences where I went like this, and oh look, there's a bear in the tree. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, he's just looking at me, so I just keep going. You don't worry too much, right? So the odds of you getting attacked by something, if you're in like bear country, like big brown bear, like black bears, the black bears are not as likely to attack you as a brown bear, but a black bear is trying to kill you 100%. Brown bears, black bears run from you, brown bears run at you, right? And there's a whole segment there. So whenever you're dealing with a bear, if you're a little bit wise on it, you don't freak out, you'll be okay. Moose is about the only thing I think you really need to really piss your pants on in North America, because they will charge you, especially if it's a big bull moose. If it's a cow with a calf, yeah, the odds of you getting killed in that situation is very high. So just be smart about your surroundings. But to be honest, unless you're around hyenas and lions and tigers, stuff like that, or dangerous snakes or whatever, you really don't have to fear the bush too much. But if you are in a situation where like you got like these, what's the name of that green tree snake there? Not the mamba. The one it's like, it's a super deadly poison, but it travels in the treetops, like it just slithers through the treetops, like through the jungles. Yeah, something like that. Okay, yeah, you gotta be, but being aware of your surroundings is one of the things. But the first thing is don't panic no matter where you are. North America, you don't have to worry about too much. Out west, yes, there is rattlesnakes, so be snake smart, and there's grizzlies, right? But no, if you're not panicking, you won't start running around and rushing and freaking out and crying and getting all, you know, congested and everything like that, and then getting hypothermic, right? You won't burn energy you don't need to. That is the biggest thing about conserving your, you know, remaining calm conserves your energy. So, like, even if it's slower getting out, just take your time getting out. The big one is learning how to go in a straight line. The Germans did a study years ago, take it for what it is. I know some people might find it offensive, but they wanted to see how long it took a soldier to walk in a circle. And it went anywhere from an hour to 2 days, depending on the person. So some people can navigate very easily through the bush. Other people end up in a circle. But one thing I can tell you, no matter how long your rate of going in a circle is going to be, almost nobody can ever go straight through the bush. There's always going to be an obstacle. Something that's going to make you have to go around something, right? So you have to pace yourself because you don't know what's ahead of you. And if you're lost or whatever, if you panic, you're going to get more lost. There was a 15-year-old kid, I guess it would be, this is going back a couple of years now. He got lost up there in Otter Lake. He was out hunting, 15 years old. Okay, they looked for him for 5 years. Not every day for 5 years, but and about I think last year, the year, it's been 10 or 15 years since he was lost, and they only found him like 1.5 miles from like basically civilization. So that's probably what happened. Is he panicked? He probably died on the first night, hypothermic, go into a coma, and or anaphylactic shock coma, and then die, right? So yeah, so panic is your enemy. So we always know that we fear what we don't know, which creates panic and stuff like that, but controlling our impulses is something that we do. But to me, no, I don't get nervous in the bush at all. And one of the things too is by remaining calm is you're less likely to probably attract predators. I don't have a study that shows this, but you know, you're not freaking out. So if you're not freaking out and panicking, you're less likely to appear injured. An injured animal is food, right? So if you're injured, you're food. You know what I mean? Like the first line is if you're hurt and injured and you're bleeding, you're going to see vultures first. And then, you know, you might hear that something tracking you behind. I've had wolves track me as close as probably from here to that tree a couple of times in my life, and they never made the attempt to have lunch. So that was good for both of us, I guess. But even at that, like, I mean, that would be such a rare occasion for that to happen. Should I go down this way? Yeah, I'm gonna go rescue one of my traps. But yeah, so panic is your enemy. You don't need to fear the bush. You just need to make peace with where you are and accept that you're lost. And if you are lost, and remain calm. And if you can't see what you're doing, that's what tomorrows are for. You know what I mean? The idea is focus on getting out alive, and the best way to get out alive is just take your time. You know, night time's for sleeping. Have a nap. You know, sometimes if it's really cold, it's better to travel in the night to stay warm. But if you can't see, you could trip, you could hurt. So, you know, focus on staying warm and dry and calm. And yeah, and then enjoy the next day. There we go.